Hi guys, I'm your host Jessica O.S. If you've ever wondered what truly inspires women to want to have sex with you, or you're simply the kind of man who wants to enhance physical intimacy in a loving relationship, then stay tuned for this episode. I'm going to break down the 4 main reasons women choose to be intimate. And it's more complex than you might expect. There are differences based on age as well. And of course, I'll explain why this understanding is essential for building stronger and more meaningful relationships. Now, the insights I'll be sharing today aren't just my personal opinions. They come from a fascinating study titled Sexual Motivation in Women as a Function of Age, conducted by Cindy M. Meston, Lisa Dawn Hamilton, and Christopher Harte. This research aimed to explore how women's sexual motivation shifts with age. It was published by the National Institutes of Health, and you can check it out yourself if you'd like. The study dives into the biological, psychological, and social elements that influence women's drive for sex at various life stages. Now, many of you might already have some assumptions about what motivates a woman to want sex. Some might say, if a guy has money, she'll want him. But honestly, that's often a major misunderstanding. So what really drives women to want sex? We're going to explore the 4 broad motivation categories and look at real examples within each. The first category is physical motivation. Women can absolutely be physically driven to have sex. You might have guessed that one. The second is emotional motivation. The third, which may surprise you, is relational motivation. I'll explain that one in a bit. And the fourth is social and goal-oriented motivation. That one caught me off guard too when I first read about it. So what does it mean when a woman is motivated physically? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Women want to be intimate because it feels good. There's pleasure involved, and sexual satisfaction plays a big role. This is especially true when they're with someone they love and trust, someone who knows how to make them feel good in the bedroom. Physical motivation is often tied to sexual curiosity, hormonal shifts, and a desire to explore and try new things in intimate settings. And sometimes it's as simple as being highly attracted to someone. When a woman finds you attractive, she naturally wants to share physical closeness with you. That's part of the physical drive. When it comes to emotional motivation, this is something men can also relate to. I've worked with so many men who confirm exactly what I'm about to say. Women often want to be intimate because they're craving emotional closeness. There's a need to feel deeply connected, to experience intimacy not just on a physical level, but on an emotional one too. In relationships, when that closeness is missing, many people believe that sex can help rebuild it. It's not just about pleasure, it's about how that physical connection makes them feel. Sex can strengthen emotional bonds and help women feel valued, loved, and secure in the relationship. Romantic relationships differ from friendships, often because of that physical component. And for many women, sex is a way to nurture emotional intimacy with their partner. Now, what does relational motivation mean? This one's quite interesting. Sometimes, sex is used as a tool in relationships. This is more of a personal view, but I've seen it often. Women may feel that having sex will help stabilize the relationship. It might be used to ease conflict or reconnect after an argument. Some women view sex as a way to keep the relationship strong, especially if physical touch is one of their love languages. For women who value touch, physical intimacy is a primary way of expressing love and security. For others who don't prioritize touch, they may not feel the need to use sex to deepen the relationship. Instead, they might show love through kind words, acts of service, or quality time. This is why understanding your partner's love language matters so much. If physical touch is a big need for you, It's essential to date someone who's willing to meet that need, or at least have an open conversation about it. If your need for physical intimacy is high and hers is low, there's going to be a disconnect. This gap, when left unspoken, leads to frustration and unmet expectations. So when dating, try to learn early on how much of a priority physical intimacy is for her. If you're not on the same page, it's better to figure that out before things get too serious. Back to relational motivation. Yes, sometimes women are intimate because they want to maintain relationship stability. They want to avoid problems. If they sense their partner is feeling distant or unfulfilled, they may feel compelled to bridge that gap through intimacy. It's not manipulation. It's a form of care and connection, especially when both partners are trying to make things work. Women may also use intimacy to negotiate dynamics in the relationship or restore harmony after conflict. In many cases, it's a way to keep that emotional and physical connection strong, which in turn maintains the relationship overall. Now, on to the fourth category, social and goal-oriented motivation. This one really opened my eyes. Think back to when you were younger. How often did you feel pressure from your peers to be sex active? Well, women feel that pressure too. There are societal expectations, spoken and unspoken, that influence their choices. Some women have sex because they believe it's what their partner wants, and they want to meet those expectations. Others are motivated by long-term goals like starting a family. Reproduction is still a key driver for many women. Sometimes the goal is emotional or social reward, like feeling more attractive or desired. Have you ever noticed how much better that morning coffee tastes after a meaningful night with someone you care about? That's the kind of self-esteem boost that can come from being desired and intimate with someone. It gives that feeling of being wanted, appreciated, and connected. This is what we call extrinsic validation, getting a boost from outside ourselves, from our partner, from the experience. In some situations, women may also be motivated by a desire to avoid negative outcomes. Maybe they fear the relationship drifting apart. Maybe they feel pressure to maintain harmony or avoid conflict. So while social motivation might not always be romantic or sexy, it plays a role in many relationships. These motivations aren't always talked about, but they're real and worth acknowledging. If you dive into the actual study, you'll see a wide range of other examples under each of these four categories. But to sum it up today, women are driven to have sex for physical, emotional, relational, and social or goal-based reasons. And that knowledge can be incredibly helpful when getting to know a woman or deepening an existing relationship. Understanding what motivates her gives you tools to meet her where she is and create healthy conversations around your shared needs and desires. Because relationships are, in many ways, long-term negotiations. You're constantly finding ways to meet in the middle, emotionally, physically, and mentally. Now let's look at how these motivations can shift with age. The study revealed that women's sexual motivations evolve as they move through different life stages. For young women, defined in the study as ages 18 to 30, the main motivators were curiosity, pleasure, seeking, and the thrill of new experiences. Attraction and social influence were also big factors for this group. Many younger women are navigating early romantic experiences and figuring out what they want. Now, for middle-aged women, defined here as ages 31 to 45, the picture becomes more layered. While some physical drive may decrease, the desire for deeper emotional connection, relationship security, and personal fulfillment grows stronger. Interestingly, many women in this age group actually reported an increase in sexual motivation thanks to improved confidence and body awareness. They know what they want. They're more sure of themselves and their needs. And for women 4-6 and older, sexual motivation generally tends to decline, but not disappear. Many older women still value intimacy highly. For them, sex becomes more about closeness, companionship, and meaningful connection. The focus often shifts to quality over quantity. It's less about how often and more about how deeply the experience brings emotional satisfaction and connection. So why should you care about all this? Because the more you understand what motivates women, the more equipped you are to build stronger relationships. If you're only focused on physical attraction or waiting for her to show obvious desire, you might be missing the bigger picture. Often, what she truly needs is emotional closeness, especially when the relationship is under stress. If there's tension or distance between you and you're wondering why intimacy has slowed down, the answer might lie in that emotional gap. When you nurture the emotional part of your relationship, the physical side tends to improve naturally. If you lead with care, connection, and understanding, chances are she'll respond positively. Understanding motivation helps with communication too. When you recognize that her reasons may shift based on age or life events, it becomes easier to have honest conversations. You might say something like, "Hey, I'd love to be intimate with you tonight because it helps me feel close to you." And suddenly, that opens a new level of understanding in your relationship. Doesn't have to about intimacy, doesn't have to be awkward. In fact, studies show that couples who openly discuss sex tend to have better sex, and more of it. So take this as your permission to talk about it. When you understand a woman's deeper emotional and relational needs, you'll be able to offer her more meaningful experiences. This strengthens not only your physical connection, but the relationship as a whole. And finally, this awareness improves your overall relationship satisfaction. Even if things are going great at the start, life happens, stress hits, priorities shift. And if you're not talking about the parts of your relationship that feel unfulfilled, nothing will improve. Being proactive, open, and emotionally available is the real secret to long-term intimacy. If you're struggling to communicate in your current relationship, or if you're unsure how to bring up intimacy when dating, that's exactly the kind of work I do, my one-on-one clients. Helping men feel seen, heard, and equipped to connect with their partners is what I love to do. So if you'd like support, reach out, and if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who would benefit from knowing what really drives women of all ages to connect on a deeper level with amazing men like you. See you next week. Ciao.